What's up, people? Joe Winko here, your favorite Hawaiian guy, and here's my next episode of Joe Winko Talk. So, here's what I'm going to be talking about in this new episode. So, as you all know, I love taking road trips, but personally, I really only like taking road trips within the USA because it's too much of a hassle to go outside of the country and everything. I do have my own passport though, but it expired a couple of years ago. I could get it renewed though, but that costs money. And as you all know, I'm a broke ass uncle fucker. Specifically because the amount of people who didn't donate to my GoFundMe. So that's basically out of the question. Anyhow, I was mapping out random stuff on Google Earth, a bunch of random fantasy road trips I wanted to take, but then I got bored and I started mapping out road trips that would take me out of the country. Like, you know how you can find directions on Google Earth? You type in where you are, you type in wherever you want to go, and then it shows you how to get there. Well, anyhow, I was wondering how long it would take me to get to Brazil by car. Like if I could drive from where I live in Wisconsin to Brazil, like what roads I'd have to take to get there. But when I tried typing that in on Google Earth and I tried getting directions from where I live to Brazil, it wouldn't give me any directions. It says directions not available, could not find a route at all. And I was like, oh, that's weird. So I know my geography within the USA pretty decently, and I'm not some expert at it, but I know it pretty decently. I know that the desert is out west, and that there's palm trees in the Carolinas, and that there's palm trees in Florida. But I never really knew for sure until recently if North America and South America were connected by land. I know they have the Panama Canal running through Panama, but that's a man-made canal, and there's bridges that go over it. So I was looking to see if North America and South America were connected by land. So I went on Google Earth and I tried finding the border of North America, the continent, and South America, the continent, and I saw this. Okay, here's a screenshot of Google Earth. Let me show that to you right now. Daryl Dixon's outside, ignore that. Okay. So, as you all see there, the dark yellow line is the country boundary between Panama and Colombia, and the light yellow lines are the roads. And as you see, the roads are not connected. There's no road connecting North America to South America, and there's no road connecting Panama, which is in North America, to Colombia, which is in South America. And I was like, what the hell? Why is there no road going from Panama to Colombia? Is that a mistake in Google Maps? Did they forget to map that road, or is it a dirt road that isn't showing up on the map at all? I was like, what the hell? So I went on Google and I typed in, is it possible to drive from North America to South America by car? Well, obviously, what the hell are you going to take if you're driving? And I got this result. Let me show it to you and let me read it to you. Okay. The Darién Gap is a roadless region of swamps and rainforests that stretches 90 miles to the tip of Colombia. It makes it impossible to drive the entire distance to South America, so we shipped the car from Panama to Colombia and flew there to pick it up and then drove south through Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia and Argentina. Oh, well, that was from someone who took a road trip from North America to South America. So apparently there's no road going from North America to South America. They're connected by land, but there's no road connecting them, but they're connected by land. And I was like, oh, well, that's odd. And it turns out they actually have a name for that region. It's the Darién Gap. That's what they call it. So, I'm going to tell you guys more about the Darién Gap. So I was reading about the Darién Gap online because my autism mind, I came really fascinated by this for some reason. So fascinated that by the fact that that North America and South America really are connected by land, but there's no road connecting them. I get fascinated by the weirdest stuff, but let's move on. And a lot that search result that I just read, you guys, it says 90 miles, but a lot of the sources I read told me that there's 60 miles connecting the end of the road in Panama to the road in Colombia. So there's 60 miles and no road between that. And that's pretty far. That's the same distance from the city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin to the city of Madison, Wisconsin. And from where I live to the nearest Walmart, that's 2 miles, but it's 4 miles if you go to Walmart and then walk back home. And if I go to Walmart and then walk back home, that would be 4 miles. So if I were to cross the Darién Gap on foot, it would be like me walking back and forth to Walmart 15 times, or walking to Walmart 30 times, which doesn't really seem too far when you put it that way. I should try that out one day. It would be good exercise. Hopefully I don't collapse. I don't know if I could hold out that long. Okay, so I was reading some other stuff about the Darién Gap online, and then I found this. It's a blog post I found on Google, and it's called Inside the Notorious Darién Gap. Notorious? What's so notorious about it? We're about to find out. By Matthew Carson. Not sure if that T there is silent. Forgive me if I don't pronounce his name right. Okay, so let's get this party started. Alright, so let me read you some facts about the Darién Gap. And I'm going to be showing you some pictures of the Darién Gap too. All of these pictures are coming from Matthew Carson's blog. So, photo credit to Matthew Carson, or Karsten. I'm sorry, not sure how to pronounce your name. Blame my punctuation skills. So, apparently the Darién Gap has a lot of rivers running through it. Here's a picture of the bridge at the end of the road, at the end of the road that stops in Panama, right before the Darién Gap. Here's a picture of the bridge that leads to the entrance of the Darién Gap. As you see, it appears that that bridge goes over a river. However, when I looked on Google Earth, I didn't see that river at all. So it must be like a really small river, or maybe it's concealed from view by the trees, because Google Earth has like satellite views. Like it's all taken like from a satellite view, so I wasn't able to see it. But as I said earlier, it might just be a creek instead. You can't always see those on Google Earth, but I don't know. Maybe the satellite that flew over that area was just really crappy at that moment. And there's actually people who live in the Darién Gap. And this is really interesting. Like Native Americans, I'm part Native American, but like Native Americans, the Native Americans of South America, yeah, they had Native Americans too. Here's a picture of one of their houses. They built them on stilts because the Darién Gap, it floods in the Darién Gap very often because of the area it's in. And I read somewhere that the waters can get up to 10 feet high, so they have to build their houses on stilts so their houses don't get harmed by the water at all. Oh, that's pretty intense. I don't think I'd like living there if it flooded that much. Jeesh. And here's a picture of a little girl who lives in the Darién Gap. Let me show you her picture. She is so cute! Aw, look at her! Makes me wonder whether I want to have children or not. No, too much responsibility. I can't have children. But she reminds me of my little Asian Barbie doll I used to play with back when I was 12 years old that my Uncle Romario bought for me during one of his flea market shopping sprees back when I lived in the Dominican Republic. I wonder what I did with that. I think I still have it somewhere. But that's a whole nother story we're not going to get into, and we're getting off topic, so let's get back to the point. So, even though there's people living in the Darién Gap, it's still not a safe place at all. I mean, it is guarded by the military men. They have to guard it because there's people smuggling drugs from Colombia to Panama and vice versa. But it's not the people that are dangerous. Well, actually, they can be dangerous because there've been a lot of bad run-ins in the Darién Gap and people getting kidnapped by other people in the Darién Gap. But the wildlife is really what's dangerous. There's a lot of crazy stuff in the Darién Gap, and let me tell you about it. So, besides the flooding, there's dangerous creatures like giant spiders, crocodiles, jaguars, and even botflies that lay eggs underneath your skin. Ugh. If I ever decide to go through there, I better bring a pair of tweezers with me so I can fix that problem. Or just avoid it totally. And there's also poisonous frogs and poisonous scorpions too. Ugh. Sounds really dangerous. So, it's more than just the animals, apparently, and this was kind of shocking to me. The vegetation is also dangerous. I read in the blog that there's palm trees. Palm trees. The palm trees I love so much. Well, not these palm trees. I read in the blog that there's palm trees that have sharp barbs growing on them, and if you get caught on the barbs, they can rip your skin and get caught in your skin, and they can give you a horrible infection that will kill you, and you'll fall on the floor and die. And I was just like, oh god, is that serious? Palm trees? That's horrible, because as you all know, I love palm trees, and the palm trees in the Darién Gap can kill you? That's crazy. And I thought the poison ivy growing down the street and the bike trail was bad. But, anyhow, it was proposed many times to build a road through that area, connecting Panama to Colombia, or connecting North America to South America, whatever the hell way you want to think of it. But it never went through at all because the environmental cost is too high, meaning that it would cause a lot of damage to the environment to build the road through the Darién Gap because they'd have to tear down a lot of trees and it would hurt the wildlife, not to mention the people living in there. Like that cute little girl who looks like my Asian Barbie doll I had when I was 12 years old that my uncle got me from the Dominican. That wouldn't be fair to them, especially her. Oh well. I'm a little disappointed, really. But, however, people have crossed the Darién Gap either by walking or taking a motorcycle. Like, many people have crossed the Darién Gap. I think that's pretty cool. If only I knew how to ride a motorcycle. I could ask Daryl Dixon to take me through the Darién Gap. How about that? But I don't hear him outside right now, so so much for that. But either way, it seems like they never are going to build a road that goes through the Darién Gap, which actually sucks. So much for taking a road trip to Brazil. How the hell am I going to rescue Brandy Harrington and Mr. Whiskers from the Amazon rainforest now? I'm pretty sure none of you guys remember that show, but if you do, you deserve 2 thumbs up. Seriously. I'd give you 3 if I had 3 hands. But yeah, whatever. And also, I wanted to make a movie about the Darién Gap, like, about these people going into the Darién Gap and then monsters living in the Darién Gap, but I haven't figured out exactly what should happen in the Darién Gap or what monsters should be in the Darién Gap. Remember, I just learned about this a couple weeks ago, but, don't worry, my autism mind will eventually hit a switch and I'll eventually think of something. But I'm really guessing of a remake of the 2003 slasher movie Wrong Turn and have the Darién Gap be filled with killer inbred cannibals like in Wrong Turn. Not sure if any of you guys seen that movie. It's about killer cannibals in West Virginia. But in my movie, they'd be killer inbred cannibals in South America instead, in the Darién Gap. So yeah, I thought that might be cool. And, but I'm not really sure. Anyhow, my favorite character from the Wrong Turn movies, Three Fingers, he's the scariest one. I would have him as the main villain in the Darién Gap horror movies I'm planning on making. So I'm definitely going to end up making those. I have so much stuff laid out in front of me. So be on the lookout for those, but they might not be out till a really, really, really long time. Hopefully I last that long, considering everything that's been going on in my life. But nope, not for this episode of Joe Winko Talk, because I wanted to make a happy episode of Joe Winko Talk. So, anyhow, what do you guys think of the Darién Gap? Would you ever visit the Darién Gap or go through it? I probably would hitchhike through it. I think that would be a fun trip if I could get my damn passport renewed. But I would hitchhike through the Darién Gap. That would be a fun trip. I'd have to walk through the Darién Gap, but I'd have to hitchhike down there. Or maybe I could find a truck driver from Craigslist to take me there. Maybe. And does it disappoint you that there's no road connecting North America to South America? Because I'll admit, I was a little disappointed that they're connected by land, but there's no road connecting them at all. But you can't have your cake and eat it too. And do you think they should add a road between Panama and Colombia? And also, most importantly, what monster do you think would be lurking in the Darién Gap? Please, type all that in the comments. Share your thoughts on this video. Did it interest you? Was it interesting to you? Please type that in the comments. And that's basically it. So don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr. And that's basically it. So peace out, people. Oh yeah, and Carolina Maniacs, it's on its way. Just wanted to let you guys know. There's still a lot of stuff I need to finish with it, but it is on its way. But anyhow, peace out, people.